Hey, community, here's what's brewing today.
Girl, I am stuck in Bali.
Scary Movie 6.
And McDonald's Big Arch product. So get your cups ready for Minority Report. Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It is Auntie Carell.
It's Auntie Dawon.
And it's Auntie Jarrell. What's up, community? Happy Monday, everybody. Or whatever day it is of the week that you listen in.
Right. And we got Jarrell back in the States, but Dawon now is the one stuck in Bali.
Stuck.
Right.
Air
Stuck.
quotes.
Luxuriating in Bali still.
Man, it's wild because our connecting flight is through Doha, and that's in Qatar. And we're flying with Qatar Airlines, so that's their hub. So all of those flights going back home are connecting through, their major hub, which makes sense because they're Qatar Airlines. Well, Qatar's airspace has been closed because of the conflict. They haven't been impacted, but the airspace is just closed for right reasons. So yeah, they canceled our flight, and we looked at each other and we are like, okay, well, let's see what these rebooking options are. And they were like, oh yeah, so our flight was originally supposed to leave out on the 4th, getting home on the 5th. And then they were like, oh, we could rebook you for the 6th. Like, let's go for the 13th. Because ain't no way we were going to be getting out of here in 2 days. And so we're planning on returning on the 13th. So we get an extra 10 days in Bali that we just have to suffer.
Oh, darn. I know, especially even in PV, it's like, darn, I got to stay in PV too. Darn. And I guess maybe it's a little different because the conflict, I guess, was like actually in PV. But it's like, there's worse places to get stuck in, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what he said. Oh, man. How y'all both doing today, though? Everything's well, nonetheless?
I'm doing great. I was just sharing with you right before we started in our last place because we had to switch rooms. Okay, for real, we had to switch villas, if I'm being honest. Because our last bed was like hard as rocks. It was, I love a firm mattress, but because, you can do a lot of things on a firm mattress. This thing it was literally like sleeping on bricks, and it was not cute. So when we found out that we were going to be here for a little bit longer, we had to rebook our motorbike for the next 10 days. And we also had to rebook a room, and we decided to just switch our room back to the smaller villa that we were before, which is where I am right now. And because we really like the bed here.
Got real comfortable.
Honey, I'm feeling delicious this morning.
They broke it in. That's why.
Yeah,
it was like bricks when they got there, but they broke that shit in.
That part.
Honey, it was, baby, when you got a bed that you have kneaded into its perfect kind of shape, I'll stay 10 more days. Yes, please.
I know that is right. Well, community, hopefully you're safe and sound out there. And then if there are any listeners out there in the Western Asia is what I'll call it, because I educated myself on just even the Middle Eastern terminology is not correct. That was like some more colonizer terminology. Just learned that on the interwebs this week. So I'm trying to do better on that terminology. But anyone listening out there, hopefully you're as safe and sound as possible. And like the black folks on the interwebs, we ain't had shit to do with this.
Leave us out of it.
It wasn't nuts.
We got nothing to do with this.
Someone online said they're like Iran, rent's due. Can you let me know what's about to happen before I pay this rent? I was like,
Amen.
I was like, I can't.
It was like, good Lord. So hopefully you're as safe as possible. Did y'all see the Scary Movie 6 trailer?
Yeah.
Like, I know we've been talking about it for a while. Like, how we're excited to see it.
Yes.
Has it added to the excitement, or are you like, oh no, it's not going to be good?
You know, I'm giving it. I like what I see. My worry is like we haven't had like one of these kind of spoof kind of comedy movies in a long time, and my concern is like how does that work in today's world? I think the writing and acting, I think it's going to be good, but like does it land like it used to back then? Because there were a bunch of like spoof kind of comedy movies, you know, that were happening around the same time as well. So it wasn't like this random thing that just happened in the middle of the year. So I think it looks good. The fact that people are already talking about Gen Z being upset about it, I'm like,
then it's gonna be good.
That part. It's gonna give what it needs to give.
Exactly.
I might go to the movie like 3, 4, 5, 6 times just to make sure they get them numbers. Cause
that part.
Yeah.
My only thing is not for the movie. It's really just for myself because we've all have been so looking forward to this happening, this movie coming out, and now that the trailers hit, and I'm not gonna lie, the trailer looks hilarious. It looks hilarious. And I'm hoping that this is not the creme de la creme of what the jokes are going to be. I doubt that it will. But I think, you know, my biggest thing is I have a lot of hopes, and I'm trying to like downplay it as much as possible. Like I'm trying to just like, you know, to just like Dawon, chill out. Like just, you know, let's get to the movie first. Let's get to the movie. Let's watch it. Let's take it in or whatever. But I know there is something about, number one, I want the Wayans to win. Number one. Damn. Like so you know, like regardless of however good or bad or how much I like it or not, like to Jarrell's point, like I'm gonna see this movie in the box office several times. They are getting my coins. So that's number one. I want them to win, but also like it's been a minute since we've just had some irreverent, just fuck all humor, and I'm ready for them to smoke everybody. Everybody. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
Same here. Like, and it's gonna be interesting because like compared to the last time we saw a movie like this with them in it specifically, social media has changed. So it's like I've been like already seeing like people like dissecting the trailer and things like that. And I didn't even catch it the first time that Sean Wayans was dressed up as like the I ain't gay no more.
Yes.
I was like, shut the fuck up. This is about to be everything. Oh, so that alone, I'm like, okay, they back. I want them to win. Yeah. And like Marlon has already said, like if this does well, they already are trying to do a White Chicks 2 and Don't Be a Menace 2. So like we need them to win because those are just movies from when I was growing up that I just adored and was hilarious, and we just need Black comedians to have big movies like this again. Like it's been too long to get stuff greenlit. And I saw another TikTok where a person was just explaining how they even originally lost the Scary Movie franchise. It was via Harvey Weinstein, and so all of that bullshit with him and the predator of him, and then now that's how they got it back because they were able to talk to I forget, like because I think Paramount ended up obviously with the Harvey Weinstein stuff, the company got shut down. Then the rights went to like I think Paramount, and then they were just sitting on it and didn't care about it. So like the Wayans were able to kind of negotiate to kind of get the rights back somehow. So I just love seeing that they're the owners of this again, or at least partially the owners of it again, for something that they created that got taken away from them. So that minimum, even if it's terrible, I want to at least give them a few dollars that I got so they could kind of get their shit back out there. And it was great to see Kim Wayans in the trailer as well too. So I'm like, the whole fam in it. So I'm here for it.
Now the question is, when I see it the first time, do I take an edible? Do I smoke some weed and just go in just having a good time? Or do I see it the first time just regular? Because I'm afraid that like if I see it the first time the regular, then I might not watch it like 5, 6 times. I might just watch it 2 or 3 times, right? So I feel like if I take an edible and see it, that it's gonna force me to see it a second time because I'm like, all right, now I need to see, was it as funny as I thought it was? Because maybe I was high and I was just laughing my ass off. But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't do edibles, so I don't know no other way. So.
I do, and I
We
will,
know.
and I will. I will. That first time, look, like I said, I need something to take the edge off. I don't want to go in there like so hyped about what I think is going to be, and then because you know how the brain works, and you like start judging every little thing, and then also, as a podcaster, it kind of shades the way that we view a lot of things. Sometimes it's like you have to look at it from two different lenses. One from a pure entertainment, I'm a fan, I'm a da perspective, I'm a pure audience member, and then the other one's like from a content creation perspective. So it's like
I don't do that.
I want to. Well, I do. I do.
I don't know.
And so
That's fair.
for me,
I was just saying I don't. I acknowledge that you do. I was just saying my mind never even thought to do that.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
absolutely. And so for me, like go in there, I want to be chill. I'm gonna take that motherfucker edible like an hour before. I want that shit to already be. I want to order my popcorn. I want to.
She laughing in the previews.
15 popcorn.
She lit at the previews, bitch. y'all heard that? Turn your cell phones off. That's y'all.
Right. He's about to be that character, right? Exactly.
Look, I might even pull a 50 Cent and buy out all 15 seats all together just to make sure ain't nobody sitting by me. I don't want no interruptions. Like
that part.
Yeah.
That be the thing. Is like I don't want nobody bothering me during this movie. Let me laugh the way I want to laugh.
Nah, but I gotta be. I also have to make sure that I go to a black ass theater though. Like I gotta be very intentional. Like I'm not gonna go somewhere where there's a bunch of white people to watch this movie. I need to be around black folks who gonna be laughing because I'm not trying to be around. I don't need to be around sourpuss people who gonna be like, I want to be around people who are there to laugh. If you ain't there to laugh, stay the hell away from me.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, that's the big question for me. Is like I typically go to a certain theater. There's like 2 or 3 theaters, but there's one theater that I like to go through all the time, and it's in the Upper West Side. But then there's also like the Harlem theater, the AMC that I like to go to as well. But I don't like going to that one because it is crazy over there. Like it's crazy. And so with that's movie like this,
that's where I'm trying to be at. That's where I'm trying to be at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then if I go there, I'm for sure gonna have to buy out the whole row. I'm gonna have to have the row in front of me, the row behind me, and the row that I'm in. I'm gonna have to do that because
yeah, I'm gonna go to the one that's down the street because that's the black movie there that's just down the street from us right here. Yeah. And I'm similar to you, like I like to go to the IMAX that's like up in King of Prussia. But for this one, no, we're just gonna go down the street and go to the black movie theater. That's where we going. Oh Lord, but yeah. So shout out to the Wayans family. It looks like you held it up, and it's got to be pressure because we hold those movies high. Yeah. So even their content, they're in on the joke because like even they've been putting out content with that old. Remember that old basketball commercial?
I was just watching that with the sneakers.
And they're like, Gen Z ain't gonna know what the fuck this commercial is. It's like that's true.
They do not know that basketball commercial. What was it? Was it a Nike ad? Right? Was it a Nike ad?
I think
it was a Nike ad. Yeah.
So it's just little shit like that. That's like I hope they have little just like nuggets of just like okay, those that know, they were there, they get it.
I'm really excited that our generation, like we are in creative control of a lot of the content that's coming out right now because baby. I'm here for it. I'm here for the remakes. I'm here for like yes, there were some hits and a lot of misses. But I'm here for it. So I'm excited about this, and I'm hoping that this does really well so we can get more kinds of movies like this. And also maybe this will signal a pivot away from kind of like the cancel culture where people were afraid to just, to be comics again, to make fun again, and just kind of like let loose a little bit. So I'm hoping that happens after this.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. One thing that was a big miss though this week was that big arch McDonald's content creation that they put out there. And honestly, it might not be a miss because everybody's talking about it. I don't know the last time I done talked about the McDonald's burger in my life, but it's interesting where my brain was when I first saw the clip. And for those that didn't see it, it's like the CEO of McDonald's was put like a little Instagram or TikTok video. So you know it was like the little Gen Z's like, oh, we gotta do this for the Instagram, we gotta do this for the web. And he was A, stiff as hell, and then B, called the burger a product and took like the smallest bite. Like he did not look genuinely interested in his own food of his company. And so everyone was just like, bitch, this ain't it. Like, and started kind of like teasing him. And then like Wendy's and Burger King kind of put out their own little kind of stamp or whatever as well. But it was interesting. The first time I watched it, I didn't even think anything of the word product because that's what we talk about all day, every day at work. So like my brain was still kind of like in work mode of just like, okay, yeah, the product, not even thinking about it. But then once I saw the comments, I was like, oh, damn, he did call that shit a product and not like a burger, like it's actual food to eat. So I was like, damn, am I so caught up in corporate America too that it went over my head. I was like, damn.
I'm low-key mad. I'm low-key mad at Wendy's because I saw Wendy's like last-minute rebuttal and their CEO made the Baconator. I think it was the burger that they made. That shit looked gross.
It looked like exactly what you get at Wendy's.
So nasty. I was like, they couldn't use the shit that they use on the commercials for this. Like, it had two like cardboard looking pieces of meat. The patty and in between the sandwich. I was like, first of all, I like Wendy's. Hey, Wendy's. I rock with y'all. I do. But I mean, that burger was not the way to do it. Yeah. I mean, I did like the little bit of shade that they threw at McDonald's about their, saying hey, you can't have a Wendy's burger without a Frosty. And it says, yes, it's always on. You don't have to worry about our machine going down. Like, I kind of like that. But the burger itself.
Yeah, no, it was representative of what you get at Wendy's. That's how them burgers look.
They do. But not Burger King's.
That's familiar.
But not Burger King's though. If you saw Burger King's like little thing, like that burger looked, and he took a bite out of crime. Like,
yeah, man. So I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it did what it needed to do. And then I saw today McDonald's put another post up today, and there's like our new product or something like that. So I was like, okay, that's how you get in on the joke now. It's like you put that out there that you know that it was kind of odd and things like that. But I haven't even been, honestly, I have not been to McDonald's. And I used to kind of like McDonald's because there was one where by the place where I get my haircut. So I used to like get a haircut and swing through that little Mickey D's. But since I've been on this little health journey, I haven't gone in probably a good, God, I can't remember, over a year. Easily over a year. Which is wild to say. Even fast food, I don't know even the last fast food I've had. So,
I gotta shout out the boys, Marco, Tony, Steven, and Eduardo, because my last McDonald's was 3 a.m. in Madrid last year, May.
Hey.
After a night full of drinking and going home, we were like, oh, I think we're all going to go home. And we were staying in separate hotels. And then next thing you knew, we were all walking towards the same McDonald's after we left each other saying goodbye. And we didn't talk about it, but we all ended up at the same place.
I get it. That 3 a.m. McDonald's run be it.
It hits different. It hits different than the 2 afternoon McDonald's. Let's put it that way.
I agree with that statement. Oh, man. And then I had an epiphany this week, too. I was sitting here thinking, I was like, oh, okay, when is Beyoncé going to drop? Oh, okay, it's probably going to be around the Met Gala. Then I was like, oh, shit, nobody's talking about this. Blue Ivy's probably going to be at the Met Gala. Like, Beyoncé going to let her baby stay at home. So I'm like, oh, God. And the theme has come out as wearable art. So I was like, oh, my God, what is Blue Ivy going to wear? Yes, I'm worried about what Beyonce going to wear, but what is Blue Ivy going to show up in? And the thing that popped in my head is Jay-Z has a song called Picasso Baby, and he references Blue Ivy in that song. And I was like, that would be dope if she came as a Picasso, just to see if people put the reference together of Jay-Z saying that her name in that song in a verse. So I'm going to put that out there now. If it happens, you heard it here on Minority Report first. Let's see what happens. But yeah, you know Blue Ivy about to show up and turn up.
I ain't gave 2 thoughts about it. Not for her. I want this goddamn album. Sorry, Blue. We'll get you after Act 3 is done. Like,
pick it up later.
Yeah, but right now it ain't blue. Love you, girl. But as her manager, you need to get your client out here in these streets because we're ready to see her. Okay, so
You're right.
that's where I'm at. So I like where your head is at. Would never have put two and two together. Ain't even gave it two shakes and nothing.
Yeah, man.
I'm loving this little like, you know, nepo baby like I don't even know what to call it, but like this invasion of all the kids of these celebrities. You know, you've got Blue, you've got Kim and Kanye's kid, you've got Madonna's kid been out there and whatnot. And at first I didn't really kind of like rock with it or whatever, because I'm just sitting here thinking like, you know, man, you know, with all the things that can go wrong with kids and the entertainment industry, you know, why put your kids up for, and with how vicious people just are in general, open them up to that. But I feel like there's just so much love out there. I think and mass, there's just so much love for all of these kids, regardless of, you know, what people feel about their parents, that, you know, and people I think recognize that, you know, these are not necessarily like child actors. These are, you know, kids of rock stars and musicians and artists and
billionaires,
you know, content creators.
That's what she is.
So I was trying to like broaden the scope.
The rest of them trash. You've seen the rest of them. No need to broaden it. The rest of them don't care. They don't matter. Blue, the only one that we care about.
You're right.
I mean,
and here's almost the difference too, is like when it comes to almost like black celebrities, kids in the black culture, there's still almost like a respect level that we put on like the whole just aesthetic of everything. Like we ain't gonna just talk too crazy. Like yes, there's been a lot of people that talk crazy, but like it gets to a line when it comes to like black kids that were like, nah, y'all can't be talking too much about Blue. You can't be talking too much. Like there's almost a protection that we have of just like black culture and black kids and things like that in that regard. That's maybe slightly different than like when we kind of look at like white people and their kids.
Like, I don't recall us giving North that grace during her recital that we clowned her on a couple years ago. So right I'm just saying, again, like I said, Blue Ivy is the exception. Okay, that's the real tea. Blue Ivy is the exception. We don't give a damn about any of them other goddamn kids.
We said fuck them kids.
Insert Issa Rae here.
You might be right there. Well, then, yeah. Well, the Lion King just wasn't there. And low key, that was Tequila Jarrell that really went in. That was Tequila Jarrell that went in. But yeah, no, Blue might be the exception. We're really very particular about her. I guess we have favorites. You know, they say parents don't got favorites. You know what?
Yes, they do.
Aunties got favorites.
Yes, they do. We all know that.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, so I can't wait to see Blue at the Met, just to see what she's rocking. And then hopefully it's just been very crickets with Beyonce, even though she started to post a little bit. It's very crickets. So some got to come up sooner than later. Than later. So hopefully your coins are saved, because once she dropped that, then I'm sure the concert will be dropped at the end of the year too. So let's see here. What else kind of went on this week? Oh yeah. So I guess it's maybe a little more serious, but it's just like the whole Shia LaBeouf, however you say his name, the actor, right? The actor came out this week with how he got arrested when he was down for Mardi Gras for New Orleans, and it sounds like the reason he got arrested is he got into it with some gay guys, and it's been going viral now. But he was saying he did some interview, so which I don't know why his publicist and them, and maybe they can't tell him what to do because he's just kind of a reckless guy anyway. Do this interview because if you're getting sued or you get like got charges pressed against you, oh, this shit's gonna show up again in court. So it is what it is. But he said that big gay people are scary, and he was like, I don't care about you being gay, but be gay over there. And I get scared when I have 3 big gay men touch my thigh and things like that. And so it alludes to a lot of times with quote unquote straight people. They allude to almost just like the history of just gay and trans panic defense, where there's laws in certain states where if a straight person deems themselves mentally incapable of not fighting a person or harming a gay person because they felt like their rights were encroached upon or whatever it may be, that they can utilize this gay and trans panic defense in law. And so it's just wild that in 2026, and maybe it's not wild because we see everything else that's going on, but it's just like, it's just still upsetting that this narrative can still be thrown out so loosey-goosey against the community. And my thought is like, why are you in situations where you're around that many gay people to be touching your thigh, potentially? Like, so that might just be saying something about you that, like, you still haven't dealt with yourself if you're in the vicinity that many times around gay people, if you're that uncomfortable to be around us. So why you keep putting yourself in situations? And I get it's Mardi Gras and all that stuff, but it's just like, some just doesn't add up specifically in this case. But I hate that this just shines light again on just the opportunity for folks to utilize this as a defense. So I was curious of what you guys were thinking, if you saw this story or not.
I saw it, and I didn't give zero fucks about that little boy. Like it. Yeah, that's all I got. Dawon.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that came to mind, but the biggest thing that I kept thinking about is, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, is that there's this thing within the gay community about either sleeping with a straight guy or not believing that somebody is straight. And I can imagine, and let me just preface this by saying that this is not an excuse for putting your hands on another person on either side of the picture. There's no excuse for you to grope a person as a gay person, groping somebody else, even in the club, even though it might be, kind of like, oh, that's what everybody does and we're all men and da-da-da-da-da. It is not acceptable and it is not okay to put your hands on somebody else unless you know that they want your hands on them. And so I just say that this is a cautionary tale on both ends. One, for straight people in terms of, if someone is having a conversation with you or flirting with you or whatever, that should not raise to the level of some kind of violence at all. So violence is never the answer. And on the flip side, if you are in a situation and you're gay, non-straight, whatever, wherever your orientation is, keep your hands to yourself. If somebody is not into you or they're not gay or they're not into what you're into or whatever, let them be, let it go. Don't force the issue. It's I see it happening a lot. These unwanted advances, not just on, straight people, but even on other gay people. We see it a lot. The amount of individuals that are accosted or taken advantage of in ways that they do not want that kind of attention. And
but that wasn't the case here, though. Like, based on how he was saying, it wasn't like someone was trying to hit on him, flirt on him. In gay culture, especially if you're like sitting down in a bar, like if you're ordering, you might put your hand and say, excuse me, da-da-da-da. That also could have been the situation as well, too. And when you down in the Mardi Gras, you drinking, once the drinking gets to going as well, too, you might not be paying attention to how things actually were as well, too. So let's not jump to the conclusion, because also the whole details ain't came out that someone was actually hitting on him. That's just the one side of it, to be honest. I'm with more Corell in here. Homeboy was probably somewhere he shouldn't have been. He didn't like where he was. Somebody did something that he thought was a little too gay. He didn't realize he was around a whole bunch of gay ass niggas, and then he got in his feelings. That's more what happened. And he now trying to be like, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me.
So let's just be clear, okay? I'm not talking about that situation. I'm talking about the broader I'm talking about the broader situation.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Keep your hands.
Thanks for clearing it up, because we started about his conversation in that situation. So when you went that way, I just circled back to this scenario, since that's what we were talking about. So it kind of veered a little different, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting just kind of like reading this particular article. He's saying about himself, he's like, I think I have a small man complex, so I need to deal with that. He said, my behavior is bullshit. I got to deal with that. Does that mean I got to go to rehab again? I'm just not into it, bro. And then it says, I'm going to address it. I think it's something that has to do with anger, ego, more so than my drinking. But that's where I'm at now on my journey, and I'll have to navigate. and I'm trying to navigate it. I'll figure it out. And it says his comments stem from the arrest of suspicion of misdemeanor battery at the R Bar in New Orleans section. I don't know how to say this, Margany section early on February 17th, which was the festive Mardi Gras holiday in the city. He was purportedly asked to leave about 12:45 a.m., but allegedly punched 2 men and headbutted a third while calling them all anti-gay slurs. So
a white man doing a white man shit.
Drinks and that's what
don't care.
Do. And this is not, especially when it comes specifically to him. He has had a habitual nature of putting his hands on people, like he did it to women he's dated and things like that. And so it seems like it's just another instance where this particular person, at least, does not know how to keep his hands to himself, and does have has a small man complex that he just need to figure this shit out, go to therapy and do some shit, because to be in this world, you're going to be around a lot of diverse people, especially at motherfucking Mardi Gras. Like, what the fuck you think is going on? Like, and even my assumption is it was probably at a bar where there's just way too many people close to each other as it is. So what the fuck do you think is going to go on? Like, you're going to bump into some gay people that you might not like. You're going to bump into some other people you might not like. Calm your ass down. And you don't have to take it to 10. And the problem that I also have, and this is like I've seen just like recently on just like a lot of stuff on social media, that it's still, people still put out there that being gay is like the worst thing on earth. That's the worst slur that you could throw out there. That's the worst thing you could call anyone is gay when you get uncomfortable. Whether it's in a situation like this or whether it's like you got your feelings hurt in a relationship and so the girl wants to call him gay. Like, I still don't get why that is the worst thing to a lot of people, and that you get that riled up to start punching and shit. Like, that ends up saying more about you and makes me think you might be gay actually. Because like if it's not the truth, you shouldn't be that upset about not the truth on yourself.
It's more that people in the wrong, and they know in the wrong, they revert to saying that, and that's their way. They think they dig it, that they think they hurting us by saying them.
Right.
Like, okay,
it don't have the sting that it used to.
Exactly.
It really don't.
It don't. That's all you got?
I remember I got into a little tiff at the CVS on 145th in Broadway.
That's some black ass shit to
waiting
say.
In line.
Right. You need to go to that. You need to go to that theater over there.
Yeah.
And the killer part about it was I was picking up a prescription because I was like sick. And, I don't ever get sick. So I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to have to go through this. And long story short, there was a tiff because they had implemented some new kind of like, drop off, pick up prescription kind of process or whatever, where they had these kiosks, and it was a little confusing. So I had put my little stuff in there. I stepped away from the kiosk to wait for them to call my shit up. And then, the guy called me, but this other guy came off from the street, and, went up to the front, and there was a whole line of people that had been waiting. And he was like, wanting to be served, but the guy was calling me. And so I interjected, no, that he's actually calling me because there's a thing here or whatever. And then he went into some little thing and then said something about with your faggoty ass. And I turned around and I said, oh, you clocked it. You clocked it. I'm a faggot. Oh, you clocked. Your gaydar is real on today, good sis. Yes. Everybody get your cameras out. Like, I made a whole show out of it because it's like, nothing I said. I may appear gay. I don't think that I'm the most feminine presenting individual when I don't want to be, when I'm just dressing regular, but not be that as it may. It was just like, you really thought that using that was going to affect me? Like, girl, right. You the one that clocked it. Your gaydar is the one that's working. You are the one that brought gayness into the situation. Don't be mad at me. And so, and everybody, the security guard came out and just, whatever. But like, as soon as I started doing all of that, everybody started laughing and bringing out their phones and whatnot. And the guy just ended up walking away. So it's like, this calling names stuff does not have the heat that y'all think it really do. But really keep on trying.
I was at a straight bar once, and This was probably like last year, and some straight guy said, I was like, what, you trying to get your dick sucked right now? Because we can go to the bathroom if you want to. He was like, the fuck? And I was like, yeah, don't fuck with me. Please don't. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Because clearly you see that ain't hurt me. So what you trying to do? You got anything else? And they're like, I'm going to walk over there. It was like, oh.
It's so wild. And so it's just like, and by we, not me, because I'm cool. But we as a society just need to like nip that shit in the bud, because like that shit is like some deep rooted bullshit that starts at, you know, childhood, seeing they dad and mom saying some bullshit, and it's ridiculous that like that's the first thing you think of to try to harm somebody with. And that shit, like you said, don't got that steam no more. So it's just like, okay, what's next then? Like, okay, you said it. Now what, ho? Now what?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's some bullshit. So I guarantee you in this instance, that's what happened. It's like accidentally probably bumped into him a little bit, got too close, whatever it may be. And you just want to go to 10 real quick.
Do both words trigger you? Like being called the fag don't get me, but being called the N-word, now you might get a reaction out of me. And the reaction is you just might get knocked in your face. You won't get a conversation. You not going, it's just going to be a reaction. Wow. Like that one,
right.
That one, I'm gonna give you what you say I am. I'm gonna be exactly what you say I am. So
there's maybe a reaction just because I know the hatred behind it. So I think there's an instant like the fuck. But my natural reaction is like to diffuse it somehow or make them look stupid. It's not to like pop off even more. Yeah. Usually that's my instinct. So I will probably have some way to make you look stupid in the moment. Maybe it's similar to how like Dawon made them be like, oh, you clocked it or something like that. I don't know what it would necessarily be, because I haven't been called the N-word that many times in my life, thank God. So I don't know how at 42 how I would react in that moment now. That's quite interesting.
Because they use them for the same reasons, essentially.
1000%. Yeah. Like that is the worst thing on planet Earth. It's like, no, ho, like that shit is fire. What would you do, Dawon?
For me, I'm literally trying to think. I think I would laugh because you really think that my whole being is going to be demolished by you using this one word. Now, I can understand contextually, depending on who it's coming from, what the situation is or whatever, but like, I'm not about to sit here and argue with nobody. We gonna fight.
That's why.
Or we gonna walk away. Yeah. Like, what is we doing? Like, oh, okay.
Right. Let's go. See, that doesn't know made your hold on. It don't made your recorder stop. I don't know what happened here, but that ended all the things.
Yeah. No, look, that's what we gonna do. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Dawon, it says Auntie Dawon's recording has stopped. Recording has stopped due to media disconnect. So you might need to hop out and hop back in right quick. But that's all a perfect ending, quite frankly. That's funny.
I'll be back.
That fighting energy.
Yeah,
it'll
like
get you every time.
Right, every time. But it's just like, it's one of those things though too. It's just like you almost need to flesh out the situation too, because if it's a whole lot of white people, you know, and they got their whole crew, it's like, oh no, you know how much turn up you got to do in that moment. But again, like a lot of these things, once like, and maybe this is just growing up and just growth. It's just like once you are like cool with yourself, yes, you know some things might hurt a little bit, but maybe it doesn't have the sting that it might have used to growing up and things like that. Like, and again, I don't want to have to put myself in this situation where that happens to see what happens in my reaction. Mm-hmm. But I at least right now in this calm state, I don't know if I would pop off, because it's like it says way more about you that's the thing, and it's kind of low hanging fruit, quite frankly. It's like it's weak. You got to think better than that.
Yeah.
Like come with something better. Then read me the filth.
See,
like,
for me, I feel like I'm doing our community a service by reminding one more white person to don't talk out the side of your neck. You know, it's not about
you threw the cap.
it's not about it stinging me. Like
Captain Fafo.
Like I don't
Captain
care.
Fafo.
I don't care. Like you ain't hurt me. But when I think about everyone that look like me, I don't want you to ever say some shit like that.
Ancestors.
Look. I mean, I think about my nephews. I think about my nieces. I think about the people that I love, and I wish a person like that would say something like that to anyone else that look like me. Hell no. Yeah. So class is in session. Have a seat because you're about to get beat.
Yeah. In wild community, we don't condone violence.
I do.
We may participate. Every once in a while.
I do.
Right. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. That's what we promote here. Do what you got to do. What works for you might not work for me, might not work for them. But we're going to condone what you had to do in that moment.
There might be in that it's above me now group, but we ain't.
Yeah. It's just like, and it's just weird because like I don't think I've ever gotten that angry where that's the thing that I think to do is to like think of the worst thing to say to a human being.
Yeah.
Like it's just not in my brain to go there. So part of me, so that's what makes it even hard for me just to be like, I don't understand how people get that upset that's what you want to do is say the most vile thing to somebody else, thinking that's going to help the situation. And I know I might be a rarity and it is weird, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. It's bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, I think different things.
A lot of people
react differently to a lot of different situations. Yeah. You know, and I wouldn't say your level of calm is like bizarre. I know plenty of people who just, kind of grow up with sticks and stones, like, but words would never hurt me. Like people like just, words never really bother me.
It wouldn't hurt me, but it's just like, I guess.
But you were just saying though, you can't think of a word that would make you get that angry. And that's the whole point of that saying, right? Like the words aren't going to get that type of reaction out of you is the point of that saying.
But I don't think it means something doesn't hurt though. Like I think those are two separate things. Like sticks and stones, but yeah, the words can still hurt in that moment. But my reaction still isn't to come back with something even more vile. Is my point.
Yeah.
And so something can still hurt for sure. There's been many things that has hurt, but like my natural being isn't to come back and be like, I'm going to hurt you more now.
Gotcha.
I'm like going that, for the worst thing on planet Earth.
That kind of revenge. I'm going to get mine. You get me, I'm going to get you type.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. No. Yeah. I mean, I don't get that because that's not how I am.
I might not. Right.
I get what you're saying.
You say in theory.
Right.
In theory. And it's like, but I mean, I will either... But there's still ways, though, and maybe this is the way I do it, is like there's still going to be ways that I will find. If it's that deep, there will be ways that I will find that you will know how I feel, though. Mm-hmm. It might not be like the most vile word, but I'm going to make you probably feel dumb and stupid somehow, some way. And that, so maybe that's my lane. It's maybe a little different in that regard.
It's like that Twitter finger kind of situation, where people will say a lot. And whether it's online or in person, people will say a lot for the purpose of getting a reaction.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think for me, one of the things that I've learned is you can choose to ignore it. You can choose to respond to it in a like kind of manner, or you can choose to respond to it in a different kind of manner. And a lot of times for me, when someone is call a spade. I'm a Leo. So I'm going to give you the same kind of energy you give me.
Yeah.
But it's not going to, but what you say and what the words that you're using aren't going to affect me in the way that I think you want them to affect me. Because, for me, it's about respect. I treat most people 9 times out of 10 with respect. But you disrespect me, I'm coming right back at you. But it's not going to be a back and forth. we're not going back and forth. It's going to be a 1 quip, 2 quip, and then it's what are we doing? Because otherwise, now we're just wasting air, and I got things to do.
Yeah. I agree. I don't like to do the back and forth either. I'm just we just fighting. We just fighting. That's just how it is. That's what we doing. We fighting. Like
that's what we do. Right.
See, and I think my brother and sister got way more of that energy.
Tag me in, sis. Tag me in.
Like my brother and sister are more that energy. Like after a point, like we fighting. Like they got that energy for sure. I didn't get that energy. I don't know. Like it was funny over the holidays. My dad,
sweet loving veterinarian sister. She be out there fighting
my sister. When it comes to stuff, and mostly it's when it comes to people that she care about. Like she would stick up for me and my brother. Like we're like people knew growing up, don't mess with Kai. Like Kai is like she seems cool, calm, and collected until.
She got to switch. She got to switch. And we all know, like
my parents know it. The family knows it. Everybody that knows my sister, cool, calm, and collected until, and then there ain't no coming back. Like it's a wrap. And same with my brother. Like my brother's gonna fight. It is what it is. So my dad actually over the holidays was cracking up about a story of my brother fighting at school, and then my dad was like, "I told him, growing up, like if you gonna mess with him, it's gonna get to a point where there ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to tell him. I told him if you gotta fight, you gotta fight."
My dad always said, because my dad's a boxer, he was like, "Don't mess with anybody that cracking their knuckles all the time." And I'm always ready.
Stay ready. Stay ready. Stay ready with a Manny. Oh Lord! Well, community, let us know. Like, how would you handle these kind of situations, especially like this Shia LaBeouf person? Obviously, he's not really worth the energy, but it just sucks just to see the visibility and the how highlighted it's been this week, and everyone kind of talking about it. And just like, it just gives people the feeling that they could just throw this around again, especially in states where it is still on the books that you could do this shit, which is wild. That shows again, 2026 is a voting year. It's a big voting year, and obviously we see the primaries always already happening and things like that. We saw Jasmine down in Texas, which is heartbreaking because they just be treating black women any kind of way, which is upsetting. She'll rebound. Rebound. But again, it's just so important to show up and be early and be proactive, because if we learned anything in the Texas primary already, they are playing games this year. And if you show up and saying that it's a different voting booth or location, just double check, triple check, quadruple check your locations and fight and make sure you get your vote out there, because they trying it already this early in this fucking March. So anyway, we're gonna cut this a little short because community actually, we out on these streets and traveling and all that good stuff, so we gotta get it done. But anything else on your hearts and minds before we get out of here?
No.
Other than, again, shout out to Sinners and the whole cast and crew and everybody.
Yes.
Like, just, out of all the things that's been going on, kind of negative, it still provides light on how powerful and impactful this movie has been. And it's greenlit a whole bunch of other opportunities for Ryan Coogler and, the whole cast. So you want to shout them out and give them more flowers.
Yeah, we got the Oscars coming up at the end this weekend. So hopefully the momentum that he got from the NAACP awards and the actor awards, the wins that Michael B. Jordan got, and then a lot of the Sinners cast got, hopefully that transfers over to the Oscars. And we'll hopefully have Dawon back in the States by then. That way we could kind of do maybe some little Oscar recap and things like that, and on the fashion and all the above. So wash your hands, your legs, your ass, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.